5 tips to manage your stress. Hi, today I'm going to share with you 5 simple tips to manage your stress. The important thing to remember is that stress management is a skill. So if you practice at least some of the tips that I share, you'll see that in no time you're going to start feeling more relaxed and better prepared for the challenges that arise. As a student, I remember that I used to feel stressed a lot, constantly thinking about the assessments that are yet to come, the grades, and the overwhelming fear that studying is taking over my personal time. So through trial and error, I tried many different ways of relaxing, and here are the top 5. Recognizing your stress, first aid, practice, hijack your stress, and don't fight it. Before we get into them, there are 2 important things I'd like to mention. First, the goal is to reduce stress, not to eradicate it completely. We all tend to avoid unpleasant experiences, but feeling stress is natural and vital. Without it, we couldn't even reach adulthood. And the second thing is, keep a positive attitude. Learning a new skill takes time and effort, and it might get hard sometimes, so don't give up and be kind to yourself. Now, without further ado, here are the tips. Tip number 1 is called recognizing your stress. We all experience stress differently and in different situations. The thing is, we usually realize that we are feeling stress when the stress level is really high. At that point, it might be really challenging to calm down. So, before you get there, try to identify your own common reactions to stress. Under stress, people usually feel 4 types of changes: emotional, physical, behavioral, and cognitive. Let me give you some examples. Emotional changes could be anger, fear, irritability, or guilt. When I say physical, it might be insomnia, pains, dizziness, sweating, or appetite changes. Under stress, our behavior can change too. You might get into more conflicts with others. Some people start biting their nails, scratching, smoking or drinking, and eating more or less than usual. And cognitive changes may result in poor attention, lack of concentration, or chaotic thoughts. So when you start noticing some of your typical signs to stress, that's the time to react. Tip number 2 is called first aid. These are some quick and easy ways to get back to your senses, but keep in mind that first aid mostly helps those who are feeling a lower level of stress and just want to calm down. One of the easiest first aids is laughter. It may sound silly, but when you laugh, it decreases cortisol, a stress hormone. So by all means, watch a funny video, a stand-up, or anything else that makes you laugh. The second first aid is changing the environment. Sometimes we get stuck in one thought pattern and it becomes a cycle that is hard to break. So leave the room, go for a walk, or do something else for a little while to allow yourself to take a step back. Then you can come back to the same problem and look at it from a different, hopefully calmer perspective. And the third first aid tip is focusing on your breath. When we feel stressed, our body and mind goes into fight or flight mode. The opposite of that is the relaxation response. It starts when we are no longer in danger. So to get your body into this state, focus on your breath. Breathe calmly and, most importantly, elongate your exhale. That activates your relaxation response. Tip number 3 is called practice, practice, practice. This tip is especially relevant to those who have an upcoming assignment. We usually start feeling stress when we encounter new or unknown situations. So tame those uncomfortable situations as much as you can. For example, if you have a presentation, rehearse in the same outfit and in the same class, if possible, where the presentation will take place. And do it out loud, just like you would in the actual presentation. Tip number 4 is called hijack your stress. Interestingly, stress and excitement are physiologically similar. It means that even pleasant situations, if new or unexpected, can elicit the same physical reactions. So, increased heart rate, faster breathing, wet palms will occur both while you are waiting for a job interview as well as when you bump into your crush. So the difference between stress and excitement is in the meaning that we give to the situation. That means that when you start feeling your stress reactions, try to think about how excited you are that you will smash this test, how amazingly your speech will flow, or how exciting it is that you will be done with this assignment so soon. Finally, tip number 5 is called don't fight it. And this tip is my personal favorite. We all have an urge to fight stress, to push against it, but the trick is not to fight it at all. Let's say you're thinking about raising your hand and asking a question in front of your whole class. For some, it could be a very stressful situation. So what happens is you start feeling your own stress response. Clammy hands, racing heart, chaos in your mind. When that happens, tell yourself, I'm not an expert at speaking in front of the class. It's kind of new to me. So my body is preparing me the best it can to react to this situation. It probably would be weird if it didn't. And that's it. Sit calmly, just noticing your own reactions. I promise you, when your mind gets the message that you're okay, that you're accepting this, your body will start to relax a little too. So that's it. These are the 5 tips I wanted to share. I hope you give some of them a go. It may take time to work, so be patient. And remember, if you're feeling very high levels of stress, perhaps to the point of apathy or mental freeze, or if your stress is long-term, please consider getting professional help. Never be ashamed of taking care of yourself. All the best and goodbye.